Hey everyone, just a quick update on Bollock Scalper and Bollock Bands. I published an update to Bollock Bands recently, a couple of days ago, where now what you can do is you can go into the settings and you can receive signals from other indicators. So here, if you choose in this drop down, this is a list of all my indicators that I've got, and if you want to, you can set it to receive signals from other indicators like the ATR model. So it's got buy and sell there. So you could, when ATR fires a signal, you can have it appear on the Bollock Bands chart. But I'm using it to receive signals from Bollock Scalper. So you set the sell signal here, you set the Bollock Scalper buy signal here. And then when you do that, these signals, these red and green lines, which indicate RSI and MACD thresholds, when these are fired, it will then create a triangle on the Bollock Bands main chart. So this just means that what you can do is basically you can hide, you can minimize the Bollock Scalper and just look at one chart. So you could ignore ignore the second chart, basically. It makes it a bit cleaner. So that's one thing. Second thing is that contrary to what I said in the last video about how Bollock Scalper is maybe good on the half an hour chart, what I found is it's really good on the 2 hour chart. You might remember in other videos I've mentioned that Bollock Bands is designed for kind of like 2 to 4 trades per month. But Bollock Scalper gives signals about, I would say, 2 to 4 times a week. So this is much, but 2 to 4 times a week when you look at it on the 2 hour chart. So you can see here we've got a signal on Friday, the 18th of July, and then you've got one on Thursday. So all right. That's a week later. That was quite a long time. But then you've got one. So you've got one on Thursday, then you got one the next day, and then you got one the next day of the next week, and then you got one a few days later, and then you got one a day later. So yeah, 2 to 4 trades a week. Um, and what you can do is right now I'm only looking at the Bollock Scalper signals, but if you want to, what you might want to do is look at the Bollock Bands and the Bollock Scalper signals. So what that does when you look at by the way, I'm looking at MSTR X slash Tesla X, so the X stocks charts. I just prefer this chart now because it gives you 24-hour candles, so you can do trades any time of the day. But basically, you can see now you've got some pretty good signals. So you've got one here, you got one here, and one here, one here, one here. These are all really good. This is good, and this is good. And then here, you've got probably what I would say is not a useful signal. So here you can see that the Bollock Bands trend line has changed and it's gone to the trend line's gone green. So it's generated a signal here. But you want to ignore that signal because the signal's you've already done the swap here, right? And you're already deep into the bottom Bollock band. So I would do the signal here, even though the trend line hasn't changed. It wouldn't matter so much if you did the swap here. It's basically the same ratio. But anyway, the point is that this is how I would know to ignore that signal. You do the swap here and ignore that one. And then here it says to swap back, but I wouldn't do this swap because it is basically in the wrong Bollock band. So this red triangle needs to be in the top Bollock band. So we'd ignore that signal. So right now it's looking like um, we're going to move up. And if we switch back to the Bollock Scalper signal, you can see here, these RSI and MACD oversold and overbought areas. Right now, we're just about to cross over the threshold, so I'd expect a signal to appear pretty soon here. Um, if you remember from the last video, it doesn't appear as soon as it crosses the threshold. It waits until it crosses the threshold, and then when it starts heading back down again, that's when the signal will fire. So you'll see that on the chart. So hopefully that will be sometime today. Um, that's pretty much it. There was just basically the two things or three things I wanted to mention. First one is again, you can now import the signals coming from other indicators into Bollock bands. You can also, it's best to use this indicators as far as I can tell, it's best to use it on the 2 hour rather than the 30-minute chart. And also, it's good to use it in conjunction with Bollock bands. So you ignore certain signals when they're not in the right Bollock bands, and all that good stuff. Cool. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully it's useful. Let me know if you've got any questions. And yeah, thanks for watching.